We were thinking a little bit earlier about the value of thinking beyond constraints in order to unlock creativity. I
Yeah,
think that so much of what we're talking about is thinking beyond the constraints of money as the thing that enables us to do all of these things. It seems like money actually just gets in the way. It creates structures where we continue to rely on more money in order to continue processes that were formed initially with money. Go figure.
sure.
But when we don't have money, when we're low resource, we open ourselves up to all the other things that are happening. We see the system in terms of the full variety of forms of capital, of forms of value. And of course, it's so much more than money. Money is just a concept that we've invented. We start to see ecology. And I
Right.
think that that's a really interesting way of thinking about regenerative flows, of framing
Yeah,
regenerative flows. It's all the things that already exist that we're sort of blinded to because we're caught thinking that money is the way that we have to do everything.
for sure.
And so going back to Harjeet as the community weaver, he probably has a lot of intuition around this kind of thing. I wonder if you could give us just a picture of how he moves through the day. You've had some pretty like comical descriptions in the past. I wonder if you could share with our audience. What's it like to follow Harjeet?
It's like a roller coaster. You never really know which direction you're headed. You're kind of being thrown around everywhere. In a sense, the way that I like to roll is very much like in the moment as well, very emergent. I kind of allow things to fall into place and you don't really like have control. It's just like you're just doing things because they feel right or like that's what appears in your life. Obviously, I think I do that to a good point, but like Harjeet is just on another level. Like he'll wake up and there's just things that happen and that's just how his day goes. Like you never really know what is going to happen the next day and you're not planning for it either. This is what's on the table right now and this is what we can do. And then that kind of evolves into what we do. So you wake up in the morning and I usually got to the office around like 8 and we just went from there, had breakfast, had a conversation, and then he'd start getting phone calls from whoever it may be, the community, health workers, elderly village councils. It could be like the district commissioner's office, it could be Red Cross, it could be whoever. And then it's just like, all right, well, this is the phone call. That's what it was about. This is what's happening. And he's like, all right, this is now what we can do about it. So he's just kind of the guy that everything goes through and is the one holding not only the relationships in place, but also just like regenerative flows in a sense. And I think it's just so like beautiful, like how he does it, because a lot of people just don't have the capacity to roll like that. I think like you never really know what's next, and there's not really a sense of security. And I think that's also like one of the biggest challenges people have in like making a transition and doing like weaving work because there's not really that sense of security in doing it because it's not about him. He's just existing as part of this larger web of life. It's supporting him somehow, and I still don't know how, but it is. And it's not like he's a piece that is partaking in this complex. He is like actually just part of it at this point. I think that's also why it's so important to be tied to that landscape in a sense, because like if he leaves, things start to fall apart. And once you're part of that complex web of life in a sense, you're just there, you belong, and things just happen. And when you're not, it's like you're consistently fighting to be on the right path.